An eviction notice has a memory. A landlord who recovers a property for his own use and then relets it within the statutory bar owes the evicted tenant compensation, and it is one of the easiest claims in rental law to document because the evidence is a listing. If you left under a personal use notice, set a reminder. The law already did. Go back to episode 18 for a moment. Of the 4 statutory eviction grounds, personal use is the soft one. Demolition needs permits, renovation needs plans, sale eventually needs a buyer, but my family is moving in needs at the moment of the notice only. The sentence itself, plus the statutory condition from episode 18, that the owner holds no suitable alternative property. The law knows this, so it attached a consequence to the sentence. A landlord who evicts for personal use and does not use the property, who relets it to a new tenant within the statutory period, exposes himself to a compensation claim from the tenant he removed. The ground was borrowed, and the law makes borrowed grounds expensive. Here is what makes this claim unusual in a series full of evidence problems. The evidence gathers itself in public. A re-letter apartment appears. It appears on the portals with photographs of the living room you painted. It appears in the building's listings. Sometimes the new tenant is at the mailbox. Your entire evidentiary burden is to notice and to capture what you notice with dates attached. Screenshots of the listing with the URL and date visible, the agent's advertisement, anything that puts a new tenancy inside the bar. Period. Alongside it, keep what you already have, the notice itself, the handover record, your moving invoices, the rent differential. You are now paying across town. That is the claim assembled. What is the claim worth? Honestly, it varies, and this desk does not do invented numbers. Compensation is assessed on the loss, and the components that make regular appearances are the costs of the move, agency fees, and the difference between the rent you had and the rent you were forced into. What you should take from this episode is not a figure, it is a habit. If you leave under a personal use notice, diarize the bar period and check the listings monthly. 5 minutes a month for a claim most tenants never discover they had. Timing discipline matters more here than in any other episode, in both directions. Evidence in this claim is perishable. Listings are edited, photographs are swapped, advertisements vanish. So, capture the moment you see it, not the weekend after. And claims age. A demand raised promptly, while the reletting is fresh and the file is live, lands very differently from one assembled years later from memory. The monthly 5-minute check is the whole. Discipline, diarize the bar period the day you hand over the keys. Look at the portals on the 1st of each month, and if the listing appears, screenshot first and take advice the same week. Now run the sequence, because a documented reletting claim is, the sequence is ideal client. The structured letter states the notice, states the ground it claimed, exhibits the listing that contradicts it, itemizes the loss, and sets a defined response window. Landlords settle these letters at a remarkable rate for a simple reason: the evidence is public, the exposure is calculable, and a hearing adds legal costs to a position that is already losing. The step before you file is at its strongest exactly here, where the file is strong and the other side's advisor can see it. Dispute.a operates that attempt at a fixed fee. The details are on the site, and when it does not settle, this is one of the episodes where the honest recommendation is often the second branch via tripod. Documented bad faith claim is precisely what the rental dispute center exists to decide, and the same evidence file that powered the letter walks straight into the case. Filing is of service this operation provides, and episode 27, next episode, walks through the whole of it, including exactly who we are in that. Pros stated plainly, and when it does not settle, this is one of the episodes where the honest recommendation is often the second branch via tripod. Documented bad faith claim is precisely what the rental dispute center exists to decide, and the same evidence file that powered the letter walks straight into the case. Filing is of service this operation provides, and episode 27, next episode, walks through the whole of it, including exactly who we are in that. Pros stated plainly. 2 honest notes before we close, because this claim attracts wishful thinking. First, the bar runs on reletting, not on regret. A landlord whose family genuinely moved in, then genuinely left a year later under changed circumstances, is a harder case than a listing that appeared in week 6. Timing and circumstances matter, and the position read will tell you which case you have. Second, if the ground was real and the property sat honestly occupied, there is no claim, and the recommendation will say so. The RDC decides disputes. Most disagreements don't need deciding, they need resolving, but a borrowed eviction ground caught on a screenshot deserves the demand. Escalation is a decision, not a default. Make this one with a full file.